to live a little.
I hope you're not concealing a dangerous weapon under that skirt.
I'm concealing a lot of things.
The irresistible series, Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries.
Tonight at 8 on Arizona PBS.
Next time on The Coroner, after cargo containers wash ashore, an ex-convict is found dead.
He's a good man. He wouldn't have been out there looting.
Jean believes the victim was innocent.
You and your lost causes.
We'll see.
The Coroner.
Tonight at 9 on Arizona PBS. Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.
See this playset? There used to be a pickup truck sitting there, a truck I didn't use and didn't want. So I donated it to public television, and they took care of everything. In addition to supporting my favorite programs, I earned a tax deduction. Turn something you don't need into something you really want. Contact the Vehicle Donation Program.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World.
PBS Online. Share, tweet, watch.
Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
Sunday nights on PBS, the place to be for the best of British drama. The Durrells in Corfu.
How do you split up nicely from a girlfriend?
Please be mine again.
No.
Followed by Poldark.
This is a sorry sight.
Are you afraid?
More than afraid.
George will win, and I will stay.
The Durrells in Corfu and Poldark on Masterpiece.
Sunday starting at 7 on Arizona PBS. Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Yupa's Thai Kitchen in Tempe features fresh, authentic Thai cuisine and vegetarian Thai dishes served in a homeland-style decor atmosphere. Open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. Information at 480-839-0576.
When you cast your vote in the upcoming election, you connect with issues that hit close to home. Clean Elections provides voter resources and tools so you can vote informed on August 28th. Connect with the facts at azcleanelections.gov.
From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
The FBI background report of Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh was released earlier today. How citizens across the valley and the nation are reacting to senators moving to vote.
The topic of disagreement between the U.S. and Canada following the trade deal is dairy. Why Arizona farmers are saying not so fast when it comes to celebrating the deal. Next.
And the Valley of the Sun is one of the top places in the nation for solar renewable energy. How one group is pushing to use our sunshine to power our businesses.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm John Cardinelli.
And I'm Samantha Lomibao. Thank you for joining us.
A critical procedural vote is set for tomorrow morning following the release of an FBI investigation on Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. Senate GOP leaders are now pushing for a quick confirmation. But one key voice was missing from today's debate: Arizona Senator Jeff Flake, one of 4 undecided senators who could tip the vote.
We Democrats had many fears that this would be an all too limited process that would constrain the FBI from getting the facts. Having received a thorough briefing a few minutes ago, our fears have been realized.
But after investigations from both the committee and the FBI, we have found nothing, absolutely nothing, to corroborate accusations against him.
There's no way anything we did would satisfy the Democrats.
A vote against Judge Kavanaugh tomorrow will be a vote for abusing the confirmation process and a good person.
While Senator Flake has not spoken publicly today, Arizona's other senator, John Kyle, made a case for Kavanaugh's character on the floor of the Senate. Kyle has been a longtime proponent for Kavanaugh's nomination and said the judge would bring a history of fairness and a goal of consensus to the High Court.
After reading what I have read and being briefed on the remainder by committee staff, I find nothing to verify the accusations against Judge Kavanaugh. If a mere allegation of wrongdoing is enough to deny an applicant a job, or otherwise discredit an individual for the rest of that person's life, our society would be torn apart. I conclude that, including how he has lived his adult life, and after 7 FBI investigations now, it is more probable than not that the accusations against him are not true. He is an extraordinarily knowledgeable and very wise judge who will do what he is supposed to do on the Supreme Court, to apply the law fairly and correctly.
In Washington, D.C., thousands marched on the U.S. Supreme Court in hopes of keeping Brett Kavanaugh off the nation's highest court. Survivors of rape and sexual assault were among the demonstrators. Cronkite News reporter Imani Stevens takes us there.
As Brett Kavanaugh's nomination is moving to a vote in a full Senate, protesters, even some from Arizona, were here to raise their voices against this vote.
Senator Flake, do you believe that survivors matter? Believe me and believe us.
My name is Daisy Ornelas, and I'm from Flagstaff, Arizona. I came all the way here to D.C. because I know what it's like to break your silence and then have to see your abuser live their life without consequences.
Consequences. The 3 survivors from Arizona say that victims carry with them all the time. Tennille, who did not give us her last name, said she came to D.C. to talk with Arizona Senator Jeff Flake, who is considered a key vote.
Brief discussion with a staff member, and it was excellent. I felt very confident, and I really appreciated the time that she took to have a meeting with us, and I felt like she heard my story.
Teresa Tidwell says she never talked about being assaulted as a child, but now feels compelled to share her story.
Right now, I have the ability to speak up and stand up for what is right.
Even though Flake gave a preliminary vote in support of Kavanaugh, Tennille from Phoenix says she backs the Arizona Republican.
I'm a supporter of Flake until his future. Whatever he chooses to do in the future, I'll be a supporter if he can, stand by survivors.
Most of the hundreds who turned out today were demanding a no vote, but Tennille says she's prepared for the possibility that Flake votes yes.
If he votes yes, then I'm just going to turn my attention to more survivors, and then just kind of keep him in the background, but move on and move forward.
Whatever the outcome, Tidwell says it's important for survivors to make their voices heard.
I'm hoping that the outcome is a no vote on Kavanaugh, and I'm hoping that an example is set for all survivors, that they do matter and that we do matter.
After protesting at the Supreme Court for about an hour, protesters headed to the Senate office buildings to take it up with senators who could be voting this weekend. In Washington, Imani Stevens, Cronkite News.
Depend on Cronkite News for coverage and analysis on what's next for the Kavanaugh vote. We have our full multimedia reports online at cronkitenews.azpbs.org. Hundreds of thousands of immigrants in the United States are sighing with relief today after a judge stopped a federal order that removed their protected status. This included migrants from countries like Sudan, Haiti, Nicaragua, and El Salvador. Cronkite News reporter Edgardo Lozoya spoke with one Salvadoran mother in the Valley who says her family has been given a second chance.
We didn't know what was going to happen. Not just with us, but with our kids as well.
It's been 10 months of uncertainty and anxiousness for Melanie Novato and her children, but a federal judge's decision Wednesday evening has brought a glimmer of hope to this Arizona family.
Definitely relieved. Now I feel like I can actually plan stuff, even a future for our kids, because that was even uncertain.
Uncertain after the Trump administration announced early this year it was halting temporary protected status for over 300,000 immigrants nationwide starting in November. Last night, a California federal judge stopped that order.
For all of us that have kids here, we didn't know what was going to happen with them, whether we would have to go back to our countries. I'm from El Salvador, so we would have to take all of our kids to our countries, and that was definitely a very scary thought.
Salvadorans are the biggest group with TPS in Arizona, with about 1,000 of them having this status, which allows holders to renew their work permit every 18 months. Part of District Judge Edward Chen's decision specified the Trump administration's decision to end TPS was based, in part, on animus against non-white, non-European immigrants. For this Avondale family, the judge's decision means they get to stay in the only place they've called home, something especially meaningful for Melanie's 14-year-old daughter.
She feels like she can move on now. She told me last night she felt like she can move on and actually think of the future versus not being stressed out about our situation.
In Goodyear, Edgardo Lozoya, Cronkite News.
The judge's order is effective immediately. However, the next hearing in this case is scheduled for October 26th, with the government saying it does plan to appeal this decision.
Hefty tariffs are on our imported dairy products from our neighbors up north.
Coming up on Cronkite News, how these Canadian tariffs are affecting our agriculture here in Arizona next.
Plus, over 6 million pounds of beef recalled by a company from right here in our state. How you can avoid getting sick with salmonella when we come back.
Join Emmy Award-winning CNN anchor Anderson Cooper as he receives the 2018 Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism, attracting industry leaders from the media, politics, business, and education. The award luncheon is the Cronkite School's signature fundraising event. Tickets for the luncheon ceremony on Wednesday, October 17th at the Sheraton Grand in Phoenix are available for sale at cronkite.asu.edu/luncheon or call 602-496-0482.
I'm Judy Woodruff, anchor and managing editor of the PBS NewsHour. The journalists of tomorrow face a fast-changing media landscape, but quality news remains vitally important to our communities, our country, and our world. At ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, students learn solid, reliable reporting, holding the powerful accountable, and rebuilding the public's trust. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
Millions of people die every year from drinking dirty water. I would never have felt I had the ability to do something without ASU pushing me. We built filtration systems out of local materials with the people. To see those kids drink clean water for the first time, it's the most rewarding feeling that you can ever have. I went to ASU because I wanted to change the world. The thing I never would have expected is how the world would have changed me.
When President Trump announced a new trade deal between the U.S., Mexico, and Canada, Arizona dairy farmers were optimistic. But now, 3 days later, reporter Jimmy Jackson explains why some are saying not so fast.
Everybody was just amazed that the administration was actively talking about dairy trade. No administration for decades had ever really talked about dairy trade as a major component of any deal.
Jim Boyle is the owner of Jim Boyle Dairy, and while he thinks this trade deal was a step in the right direction for dairy farmers, he is still skeptical of the short-term effects that it will have on the dairy industry.
It is nice to have the trade deal done, at least the language completed. And there's a little bit more access to the Canadian market than we had before. The new USMCA essentially just retains all of the old NAFTA deals with Mexico.
One of the key details ends Canada's Class 7 dairy products that price other countries out of its market and dump what they call cheap dairy products in the U.S.
Canada may be opening up its dairy markets to the U.S., but the focus in Arizona is on Mexico's tariffs on U.S. dairy exports that are not addressed in the trade deal.
The issue that happened was that during the new NAFTA negotiations, we placed tariffs on imported steel and aluminum and other products from Mexico and Canada, which then forced Mexico to place a number of tariffs on American agricultural products going south. That was a big hit to us.
Arizona exports more dairy to Mexico than any other country, and Arizona dairy farmers say recent tariffs are hurting their profits. Still, Keith Murfield of United Dairymen of Arizona says, don't expect this to change the price of dairy products in stores.
I don't think what you saw here, you'll see really any difference in what the prices you pay, but it will at least give the producers a chance that maybe in the future the milk prices will go up.
Boyle says the impact in the new trade deal will be small and isn't going to significantly help the struggling dairy industry. In Mesa, Jimmy Jackson, Cronkite News.
The new trade deal is expected to be signed in late November, but Boyle believes it could take much longer if the Democrats win control in the House of Representatives in the midterm elections.
Arizona-based JBS Tolleson is recalling over 6.5 million pounds of beef products because it may contain salmonella. People are encouraged to check their freezers to make sure they do not have the product. The beef should have the number EST 267 on the label. Investigators say at least 57 people in 16 states have reported getting sick. In a statement to Cronkite News today, JBS USA wrote, "Our priority at all times is consumer safety. We are working in close partnership with USDA to make sure all potentially impacted product is removed from stores and homes."
After 6 trespasser fatalities this year, Arizona railroads are a safety concern.
Coming up on Cronkite News, what law enforcement officers are doing to educate Arizona citizens on the dangers of railroads.
You've probably realized humidity levels have dropped today, but that's not for long. Stay tuned for your full forecast after the break. As journalists at Cronkite News, we report on stories that matter to you by focusing on the local impact. We dig deeper and work tirelessly to keep you informed.
Live in Wickerburg.
Live in Los Angeles.
In Cleveland. In Washington. In Louisville.
From Jerusalem.
Live in Philadelphia. From around the world to right here in Phoenix.
At Cronkite News, we report the facts and stick to the truth.
I'm Ted Simons, host and managing editor of Arizona Horizon. The 2018 election season has arrived. Join us for primary and general election debates. Right here, meet the candidates and hear their positions. Arizona Horizon, your source for what matters most this election season. Only on Arizona PBS.
By the year 2050, there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. Before Professor Halden, I had an insane amount of passion, but I almost felt helpless because I didn't know how to use it. Professor Halden gave me a chance to make a difference. Being at a place like ASU allows you to take these big leaps. Ultimately, the biggest problems in the world cannot be solved alone.
Arizona is one of the top 3 states in the country for solar energy potential, yet renewable energy like solar and wind make up a small percent of the state's current energy makeup. One Arizona group wants to change that this November election. Cronkite News reporter Rachel Charlton explains.
Proposition 127 would mandate that Arizona utility companies get 50% of their electricity from renewable sources by 2030. The Arizona Constitution sets the current standard at 15% by 2025. Clean Energy for a Healthy Arizona collected hundreds of thousands of signatures to get Proposition 127 on the November ballot.
I think most Arizonans understand that solar could really be a huge resource here. And right now, we're just not doing it.
There are over 300 sunny days in Arizona. Solar energy accounts for more than 5% of the state's total energy generation. Arizonans for Affordable Electricity oppose the proposition. Matthew Benson, a spokesman for the group, says Arizonans can expect an increase in utility costs if Proposition 127 is approved.
Prop 127 is going to significantly increase the cost of electricity in Arizona. For the typical Arizona family, that means $1,000 or more in added utility costs over the course of the year.
The two groups disagree on whether Proposition 127 would create more jobs and if bringing more renewable energy to the valley would force the closure of the Palo Verde nuclear plant. And they don't agree about the cost of implementing Proposition 127.
If we were to, take a turn this year and pass Proposition 127, what would happen is a pretty substantial and marketable increase in our solar industry right away, which really could bring in a lot of good jobs and actually cut down on cost.
Closing current power plants, bringing online new resources, and all of those costs get passed along to guess who? Ratepayers. And that's the reason that ratepayers will see their costs go up drastically if this becomes part of the Constitution.
Lincoln Davies is a University of Utah law professor who studies renewable energy policy. He says this citizen push for increasing renewable energy isn't just an Arizona issue. Similar initiatives are on the ballot this November in Nevada and Washington state.
The idea of these laws was to drive down the cost of renewables over time so that they could be scaled up as technologies and be used across the grid.
But not everyone is on board with that. Arizonans for Affordable Electricity is backed by the parent company of Arizona Public Service and other utility companies. They've raised more than $11 million to get voters to say no to Proposition 127. Davies says this is not surprising.
As solar has become really a powerful influence in terms of how electricity is getting produced in the United States, You're starting to see pushback from a lot of utilities and other political constituencies in different states against some of these measures, especially as they become more stringent.
Meanwhile, Clean Energy for a Healthy Arizona says a measure like Proposition 127 encourages Arizona to keep up with neighboring states and stay competitive in the renewable energy industry. The group has raised more than $8 million to convince voters it's worth it. Most of that money has come from the Political Action Committee Next Gen Climate Action. If voters approve Proposition 127 in November, utility companies could be fined up to $5,000 if they don't meet requirements. If the proposition fails, Arizona's renewable energy requirement of 15% by 2025 stays in place. The deadline to register to vote in this November election is October 9th. In the Broadcast Center, Rachel Charlton, Cronkite News.
Freight trains can travel at speeds anywhere between 55 to 70 miles per hour, which means ignoring railroad signals can be dangerous and even deadly. Cronkite News reporter Holly Bernstein rode on a train in Goodyear to see firsthand the issues law enforcement see.
This morning, officers riding inside this locomotive observed behavior around railroad crossings. If they noticed anyone ignore signals or walk on the tracks, they dispatched nearby officers. This operation is part of Union Pacific's Crossing Accident Reduction Education and Safety Program, which promotes railroad crossing and pedestrian safety.
It's important because our goal is to educate the public on the dangers associated with the railroad and the dangers at railroad crossings.
This year in Arizona, 6 people have died on railroad crossings, according to the Federal Railroad Administration. One issue, trains give the illusion that they're going slower than they actually are.
They take at least a mile to stop, which is why police are urging pedestrians and motorists to slow down and obey signals when they come across a railroad crossing.
Goodyear Police Department spokeswoman Lisa Berry says it's important for people to follow the rules of the road.
So we want the public to make sure they understand the importance of stopping when the arms go down at a railroad crossing. We want the public to know that it's not safe to walk on the train tracks and just to follow the rules.
Brooks says Union Pacific continues to try and educate the dangers of the railroad and that people should always be paying attention to their surroundings.
Well, trains can go by at any time of the day or night, and obviously trains can come in either direction.
In Goodyear, Holly Bernstein, Cronkite News.
According to Brooks, residents interested in learning where railroad crossings are in their area can visit the Union Pacific website.
The remnants of Tropical Storm Rosa are still causing trouble in several parts of Arizona. The National Weather Service extended a flash flood warning for the community of the Tohono O'odham Reservation after some structural damage was found at the Menegers Dam. At this point, waters are receding, but the town has mostly been evacuated. Meanwhile, in northern Arizona near Cameron, there are major closures around a 15-mile stretch of US 89. The Arizona Department of Transportation says detours around the area will likely last a while due to the damage from heavy rains. And there's a possibility for more rain headed our way this weekend.
Micah Bledsoe is tracking our forecast.
That is true. We do have a possibility for some more rain. Right now, here in Phoenix, we're experiencing temperatures at 84 degrees. Up north in Page, Arizona, 70 degrees, and way west in Lake Havasu City, 84. You've probably noticed that the humidity has started to gone away a little bit, but as we can look at this map, we see that the water vapor is moving northeast throughout the state, but that's not for long, unfortunately. Everyone's looking forward to Friday night, so tomorrow's temperatures are going to be pretty cool. Tomorrow at 65 degrees in Phoenix, so it's a pretty cool day to spend some time at a football game. Looking at our 7-day forecast, we can see that it'll be a pretty good weekend up until Sunday when we finally get those rain and thunderstorm shatters. Throughout the rest of the week, you can see that it'll be nice, but Thursday it'll come back with that rain and we'll experience humidity as well. In the Cronkite Weather Center, Micah Bledsoe.
It's end of term exam time at lots of middle and high schools across Arizona.
But some teachers are urging them to escape in order to learn. Coming up on Cronkite News, we'll take you inside an immersive experience for these history students as they prove their knowledge in an Escape the Room challenge.
I'm Matt Berry, ESPN Sports Center anchor and graduate of ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. With its bachelor's and master's degrees in sports journalism, the Cronkite School is preparing the next generation of sports journalists to tell stories that matter, stories that excite, inspire, and inform. Cronkite immerses students in covering sports at all levels in one of the country's top sports markets. It's this hands-on experience under the guidance of award-winning sports media veterans that shape the top journalists of tomorrow.
Here at Cronkite News, we have producers who craft shows that make an impact on our community. Our broadcasts allow students to be involved in all levels of production, from producing to directing. We are guided by highly respected professionals who mentor the journalists of tomorrow. From technical directing to teleprompting and beyond, our production crew works tirelessly to produce meaningful and award-winning shows. We are Cronkite News on Arizona PBS.
By the year 2050, there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. Before Professor Halden, I had an insane amount of passion, but I almost felt helpless because I didn't know how to use it. Professor Halden gave me a chance to make a difference. Being at a place like ASU allows you to take these big leaps. Ultimately, the biggest problems in the world cannot be solved alone.
Teachers at One Valley High School are preparing students for tests in a different and more interactive way inside the classroom. Reporter Micah Bledsoe went to Queen Creek to see what it means to escape the room.
Here at Queen Creek High School, students are retiring their typical study sessions in the library with books for timed test preps that you've probably never seen before.
Begin.
Son. 55531. At 5 5 555.
We have a time limit, and for each level there's a different puzzle or riddle or something like that that has something to do with the subject that we're learning, that we're about to test on. And so we just keep unlocking the puzzles until we can unlock the box and get our prize.
Groff is an 11th grader at Queen Creek High and says this kind of escape the room is a great way to keep lessons fresh in their memory. Kylie Bean, a teacher at Queen Creek High, says she got the idea for classroom escape the room online watching a science webinar.
All the puzzles that require them to use logic and reasoning skills, which are all higher level depths of knowledge for kids to have to use.
Students have to work together to escape, hoping to be first in claiming their prize.
Well, you get candy, and that's always a great motivator. But then also we get tickets, which this one I have right now, it says that I get a free A+ on any assessment worth 10 points or less.
For one unit, Bean says it takes 10 to 20 hours to put one set of puzzles together, but it's worth every penny and minute spent.
You know, you always have one or two or three students that sit in the back and they kind of want to sleep, or they put their head down, or they're shy, or they're quiet. That's not the case with the escape the rooms. It's 100% engagement. Every student is involved in the process, and that's hard to do.
In Queen Creek, Micah Bledsoe, Cronkite News.
Queen Creek High will have workshops to show other teachers in different subjects how to participate in this kind of educational escape the room.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, we will hear from Bill Pierce. He is the Democratic candidate for state mine inspector. We'll ask him about his candidacy and the duties of the office. That's the next Arizona Horizon.
I'm Judy Woodruff on the next NewsHour, making sense of the economics of recycling as our series, The Plastic Problem, continues. That's Thursday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thank you for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Deanne Griebel, now with Moores & Cabot Investments, serving investors since 1890, proudly supports quality programming on 8 Arizona PBS, 480-725-9602.
Coming up on Arizona Collectibles.
You just don't see things like that anymore.
Another thing you don't see is 200-gram nuggets.
You know what those are?
No, I didn't.
They're grape shears.
Of course they are.
This is going to kind of be the first piece to come to market to see what something like this could sell for.
This is an example of a piece that comes from the golden age of Japanese cloisonné production. Tonight at 7:30 on Arizona PBS.
Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.
If you are 60 or over, consider a charitable gift annuity with Arizona PBS. A charitable gift annuity will provide you a steady stream of income during your lifetime and also help ensure that Arizona PBS is available for future generations.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World.
PBS Online. Share, tweet, watch.
Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
They're a London team of forensic pathologists, and they help the police investigate murders. But to solve these crimes, they'll have to put their own lives on the line.
I will do everything that I can to get the person who did this.
Silent Witness.
Sunday night at 10 on Arizona PBS. Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from...
At Arizona Oncology, we know each cancer is unique, and so is every patient we treat. Our team is dedicated to providing advanced care, innovative technology, and personalized treatment options to patients right here in our community.
Support comes from Citizens Clean Elections Commission, your source for unbiased voter information. Watch an upcoming debate and vote informed this election. Visit azcleanelections.gov/debates for dates and ways to watch.
Like you, we get up and go to work every day. We're on the job, keeping you connected at home, at work, and to what matters most. Others count on you, so you can count on us. We're here restoring power quickly when storms hit, even fixing issues before they happen. We're making solar more reliable, investing in battery storage, and constantly updating the grid. We're here working 24/7, keeping Arizona on.
On Arizona Horizon, law professors around the country, including here in Arizona, speak out over Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh's judicial temperament. And we'll hear from one of the candidates running for state mine inspector. Those stories and more next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible with the support of Arizona Highways Magazine, Escape, Explore, Experience, and by APS, working 24/7 to keep Arizona on, and by the contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Senate Republicans and President Trump are increasingly optimistic that Brett Kavanaugh will be confirmed to the U.S. Supreme Court. This despite protests on Capitol Hill and around the country, and some remarks from retired Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens, who told a group of retirees in Florida today that Kavanaugh doesn't belong on the Supreme Court. Stevens, a lifelong Republican,